Hello, it's Kate from Open Door Counsel and Life Coaching. Today is Therapy Thursday, and today we're going to be talking about people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? Here are 6 people pleasing behaviors to avoid during the holidays. You know, we hang out with our friends and family. We're with family more during the holidays oftentimes, and our families aren't always our favorite group of people, which is why we have friends, right? Okay, so while the holidays can be a great time of joy and just fun, right? We're off there. They can be a recipe for disaster for people pleasers. And I'm just saying, I kind of struggle with this sometimes. It's kind of a thing. It used to be worse of a thing. It's still kind of a thing in my life. And hopefully when I'm old, I'm already gray, but hopefully when I'm older, it won't be a thing. Do you people please? Are you a people pleaser? If this is often a recipe for disaster for people pleasers and people who have low self-esteem and have a strong need for people's approval. Okay. It's fraught with obligation and expectation, and the holidays are a time when people pleasers are particularly challenged because it's virtually impossible to be all things to multiple people, right? We drive ourselves insane and oftentimes have major bouts of stress. So whether it's making a decision to have guests overnight or traveling to see your family, gathering with now post-pandemic gatherings, spending money on gifts, determining which foods to prepare, you know, they're very just stressful and they're overwhelming, and it's just like impossible to keep people happy. So we're going to talk about 6 people-pleasing behaviors to avoid. Okay, are you ready? So first of all, question, are you a people pleaser? People pleasers generally have a low self-worth. Sorry, we do. We struggle with a little bit of that because we're trying to make everybody happy. Why? We have a little bit of low self-esteem and a strong propensity to tend to the needs of others before our own. Now, you could say, well, I'm just a nice person. Well, you might just be a nice person, but you also might have some people pleasing. So let's just open up our minds and be open to the fact that we might not be perfect and we might have some work to do on ourselves, okay? I am in the same boat with you. We all need to work on ourselves to become better versions of ourselves. So people pleasers are driven for the need of approval. They also tend to give too much, to be honest, be very agreeable all the time, frequently apologetic, and have very little time for themselves and dislike conflict. Okay, that's kind of ringing my bell a little bit, I have to admit. So, but these behaviors come at a price, all right? So research has shown that those who suffer from low self-esteem seek external validation in what they do. The consequences can be stress, aggression, addictive behaviors, among other negative consequences in relationships. Let me just repeat that. Research has shown and proven that those who suffer with low self-esteem seek external validation. We're looking for people to be okay with us, with what we're doing, with what we're saying. However, in the person who is the people pleaser, it can cause major stress, aggression, addictive behaviors, among other negative consequences, okay? We're actually hurting ourselves when we're doing all this people pleasing. The good news is, though, is that you don't have to fall into the people pleasing trap this holiday season. You don't. You can be aware of it and work on not doing it. So this is what we're going to avoid this holiday season. Are you ready? Hang on, put your seatbelts on. We're going to go fast. Here we go. 6 approval-seeking behaviors to avoid. Number 1, giving to earn approval. Giving is a wonderful thing to do. It makes us feel good. However, people pleasers tend to give too much in search of approval. So we have to be vigilant about this. Remember our motivation for giving, okay? Before you decide to give your time or money, question your desire to give. Why am I giving? Check your motivation. Number 2, helping without being asked. People pleasers help too much and often offer help without being asked. Now, you could just be like, well, I'm just a helpful person, right? But just think about the motivation. It may stem from the belief that people only care if you're useful to them, okay? Consider the motivation of why you're helping so much. So helping without being asked is something that can be a people-pleasing behavior we want to avoid. Number 3, saying yes when you should say no. Friends, if you say yes every single time somebody asks you to do something, I want you to think about why you're saying yes to them. Just think that's all I'm asking you to do is think about why you're saying yes. Is it because that you're looking for the validation that they're going to see you as someone who's helpful and giving and all these wonderful attributes? Or is it because you legitimately want to serve them out of a clear motivation, out of a motivation that's not receiving anything back in return? It's difficult to be authentic as people pleasers, okay? But we can do it differently. We can make choices. We can decide to be really real, be really honest with ourselves, really look internally. Why am I really doing this? So we don't have to say yes to everything, okay? So that's one thing we want to avoid. 4, apologizing for everything. People pleasing involves the readiness to take on blame, even when it has nothing to do with you. If you're a people pleaser and one of the things you do is take on blame when it has nothing to do with you, you're a people pleaser to the point where you need to get out of that hole, okay? People pleasers will over apologize for everything, even things that are beyond their control. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry that there was an accident in front of me when I was trying to drive to see you. I was late because there was this accident. I'm so sorry. What's not your fault? There's an accident. It happens, right? 5, behavior we should avoid. The 5th one is avoiding disagreements or conflicts. Ooh. I hate conflict. I hate it. However, it's necessary sometimes. So people pleasers often fear anger, which makes sense, right? Anger suggests disapproval. If your goal is to keep others happy and have a good opinion of you, anger means that you failed at pleasing them somehow, right? What's worse is you might rush to apologize to do whatever you think will make them happy, even when they're not angry with you. So we want to avoid avoiding disagreements and conflicts. We actually want to maybe open ourselves up to it or engage in it a little bit. I'm not saying engage with your drunk uncle, okay? But what I'm saying is don't be such a people pleaser to the point of where you're avoiding conflict. Sometimes conflict is a thing. Sometimes it's okay to just have a little conflict and maybe clear the air a little bit, all right? Scary, sure. For people pleaser, absolutely, because you're worried and you're full of fear. However, just know that conflict is a very natural and normal part of all relationships. Number 6, behavior to avoid is packing your schedule. So avoid the temptation to pack the schedule, okay? So we do that a lot, don't we? Just jam this to this to this. People pleasers often don't prioritize their time to just be, to just chill, just to be, or do things that they enjoy. We just pack it with all of the things that we've said yes to and things that we've committed to help other people. We need to schedule our holiday with a little bit of ourself in mind, okay? Again, it's motivation. It's not, I'm selfish. It's going to be all about me. It's, you know what? I'm going to need some downtime because with all this extra time with people, I'm going to need a time to break. So after taking care of our responsibilities like work and household duties and childcare, family festivities, what's the time left for you? I need you to schedule in some downtime or some chill time or maybe you want to go see a movie. Yes, it's wonderful. Go see a movie. Even if everybody else is playing cards that night and they really want you to come, but you just need to go see a movie by yourself. That's okay. It's okay. So we just want to be aware of these 6 people-pleasing behaviors to avoid, going through them quickly. Again, number 1, giving to earn approval. We want to avoid these things. Giving to earn approval. Help without being asked, saying yes when we should say no, apologizing for everything, avoiding disagreements and conflict, and packing our schedule. These are 6 people-pleasing behaviors we just want to avoid during the holidays. You guys, we can have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We can have a wonderful holiday season, just a better one than last year even, if we're just mindful of some of our weaknesses, our low spots, some of our non-strengths, if you want to call it that, and just be aware of them and just be mindful of them to the point where, okay, I'm going into this particular situation, and oftentimes this is what happens, or this is how I begin to feel when I say XYZ, or somebody offers me this. And so we just want to be aware and say, okay, kind of make a plan for ourselves. I'm just going to enjoy myself. And when someone asks me to help them, I will help them, but I don't have to do it all and be it all to everybody because that's not my job. We don't have to be people pleasers. Okay. We can serve with a heart of love. That's great. But we don't just think about the motivation from which you're doing it, just to stay healthy in your mind and your body. I am Kate from Open Door Counsel and Life Coaching, and that's your Therapy Thursday.